What's up, summoners? King Blair here. Today we're gonna be talking about the two current banner heroes, Kise and Cecilia. Both some of the older units in this game. They've been around the same time I started playing, so definitely some of the oldies. So if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Discord. I got some amazing content waiting for you guys, so make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with that. Friday and Sunday, oh man, I'm so excited for those videos. And then next week, next Friday, I'm actually planning to stream more consistently. If you guys saw yesterday, but this time I'll actually announce it because I feel like a lot of you guys probably aren't up at certain times or don't know that I'm streaming, so you don't get on YouTube. So I'll be sure to post it ahead of time so you guys can see when I'll be streaming. So yeah, join in for that. All right, enough about the channel. Let's actually get to the units and talk about them. So normally, I usually go over the skills and then say whether or not they're worth it. But because I know a lot of people do skip around my videos, you know, I see it in the statistics. I do want to get this out as a PSA to everyone in case you were not aware before you pull kind of thing. So before you pull, disclaimer. Big disclaimer. Season 3 is around the corner. So that was with Cecilia's storyline. It's not like I'm bringing this out of nowhere. It literally says in the storyline, Season 3 is coming. And with a new season coming, that means new 5 stars. So I would not be surprised if when Season 3 drops, there's a new unit in the game that could either be really good or really bad. I don't know. The other thing is also that the 2-year anniversary is coming pretty soon, and they might, you know, that this one is speculation, but they might actually do a event limited unit or a rerun of potentially Luna, since she technically is part of season 3. So I could really see them doing that. But again, it's just there's a lot of things coming out, and for sure they're like, I am pretty certain that by the end of this month there will be at least one more other unit. And while these two units are great, they are very strong units. They are not game changing, and they are actually on the hard side to build. So if you're an early game player, you will not see a lot of benefit from Kise. You will not see a lot of benefit from Cecilia right away. They're not the best PvE, and they're primarily PvP units that aren't actually in the meta. They're just really strong picks. So I know I don't want to underhype them because they're both really good units, but unless they get a buff, they're not game changing, right? So it is completely up to you. I will still be talking about where they shine and how you can use them and the build you can use on them, but they are not game breaking units. And I just want to tell you guys that because I know there's going to be another unit coming up soon, and I know I'm personally still drained from HU Fiend. I will be doing a couple summons for Kise because I think she looks extremely fun to play with. But yeah, that's just a disclaimer. I know. I don't want to underhype these units. So make sure you stay around to actually hear what they do and see if that's something you like, right? Because if Kise ever gets a buff, she could become extremely meta. Cecilia has already gotten a buff, and she already has a pretty good place. So let's actually talk about it. Let's start with Kise because she's kind of like a unit that doesn't get that much rep. So first, all right. So enough of a disclaimer. Let's actually start talking about the units and whether they're like how they're actually like good but not game changing. So let's do the stats first. So attack, pretty good. Actually really good. Higher than Kayron's. I know, I use Kayron as a benchmark a lot. But very good attack. The health is not too bad. Yeah, it's on the lower side, but it's still higher than 5,000. So she's not like going to get one shot right away. The speed, it's what makes it really, really nice and actually gives her a lot of potential builds, is how fast her speed actually is. 116 is nothing to laugh at. I think that is faster or around the same speed as Athletica. Yeah, definitely faster than Bazaar. Definitely faster than like Baiken. So I don't think she might. I'd have to double check that, but it's on the faster side. And then defense, okay, not terrible. And the crit rate, having that is actually pretty good. And then her awakening into attack is also really, really solid. But all right, let's actually look at the skills because her skill set is actually extremely unique. The skill one is probably one of the most unique skills in this game, and I think one of the coolest design ones. Also, her design, y'all. When she dropped, I tried so hard to get her. The pity system wasn't around. I think I spent around 100 summons and I didn't get her, and I was like super depressed at the time she came out because she looks amazing. The scythe looks amazing, like the leg braces, the armor. It's just very well designed unit. I really like how they designed her. I really like her idle animations. I like all her animations. In terms of like animations, she honestly should have made it into the video that I made of the top 10 best animations, but gorgeous idle animation as well. But the S1 is actually okay. So now as far as the skills, the S1 is one of the more unique ones. So the S1 does 70% increased damage when the target is buffed, and you can soul burn this to do even more damage. That will also scale with that 70%. This skill can't melt people. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Arena and RTA, a lot of units have a lot of buffs. Like Dieni, very popular. Craw, very popular. Even Rylet, he starts with Evasion buff. That's a buff. FCC, that's the big one. FCC is probably the biggest one that you'll see a lot in Arena. To always give them a barrier, and FCC giving them a barrier. Oh, this kill literally is just like, oh, you gave them a barrier? Okay, time for them to die. It's beautiful. It's such a good S1. I think it's one of her most unique aspects. And if she was to get a buff, she could be extremely strong. So there's always the chance that she'll get a buff, but I doubt it. But again, even without the buff, it's still really, really good. It'll kill units with barriers. Like, it'll just eat through them. People used to use her to counter Dieni, and she did a pretty good job at it. Like, a really good job to counter Dienis in the olden days. So let's move to the other skills. S2 will make more sense in a second. But you also have to talk about stealth, because a lot of you guys probably don't play around with stealth units a lot. There's only very few units that actually have stealth mechanics. Tempest Surin, Akali are the two big ones, and then also Cerise with her artifact that can get stealth. So those are the big ones that I know that can stealth. Spectre T doesn't really count because it's not the same mechanic. But when she stealth it, she penetrates the defense by 60%. Y'all, Ludwig, the guy that people still do cleaves with, Ludwig, only cleaves defense by 50%. Granted, he gets a soul burn on the S2, but still, for an S2, this is really good. This is an extremely good S2. It can do a lot of damage. You can really cut through knights and just like heat them up. It basically, like, oh man, it's so strong. It's actually a really good way to do good AoE damage to a lot of units. And you might be wondering, okay, she wasn't on the tankier side, right? So how are you going to get a guaranteed skill? Now let's talk about the S3 and about the stealth mechanic. So S3 attacks one enemy, and it has the chance to increase skill cooldown by 2 turns. Now, if you want to build her effectiveness, this is where like the things can work. You can make her a fast effectiveness unit to reset cooldown, but then you always have a 15% chance of losing. The other thing you can do is this can be a one-shot potential to one-shot a unit or do high damage to a unit and set up for the next turn where you can do big damage. Because right now, there are a lot of AoE units, but she also gives a barrier to herself. And let's actually look at this animation first before I talk more in depth about this. Because this animation is still one of my favorites. It's so elegant. Like, and the moon background. Granted, the background is not high res, but like, still. It's such a gorgeous S3. But as you saw, she gets stealth. So that's how she's going to get the defense penetration. The other thing is she gets a barrier that increases a portion to her attack. Which means that if you have a really strong Judge Cheese, like 4k plus, this is going to be a fat barrier. Like a fat barrier. So this skill can take out certain squishy units out of the fight. If this hits a Rylet, that Rylet is dead. Granted, you still have the big chance to miss. I'm trying to think. There's not a lot of fire units, but even to a tank, this will do considerable damage. But what you care about is getting the stealth, getting the barrier. So if you guys didn't know about stealth, the way that it works is that it decreases damage AoE. You can read it right there. What that means is she takes reduced damage. I believe it's 50% actually. Like, it's actually like a considerable amount. The other thing about stealth is that if they hit her, because she has the barrier, they technically didn't hit her. It says when they do damage to her. When she takes damage. Keyword, taking damage. Which means that if you have the barrier and they don't get through the barrier, she keeps her stealth. Yeah. So that means they have to have multiple AoEs. And against an Arbiter Vildred, you could use this skill. Kill the Arbiter Vildred. Get your stealth. Get your barrier. Maybe you have an Emil Haste in there. And you're going to take way less damage. The Arbiter like probably won't get through your barrier, and then you get to go the next turn and kill him with the S2. Granted, it takes a lot longer, but it's a good setup. You know, it's a pretty solid skill. It really lets her set up for the S2. The other thing is that the stealth and the barrier last for 2 turns. What makes it nice is that, assuming they don't have like insane AoE, right? So like, there are some counters to her, Charles being one of the bigger ones, because Charles can just proc on her and remove the barrier straight up, and Alencia can just like yell at her and remove the buffs. So she does have a few counters right now, but still, very, very solid skills. You're guaranteed to use them, and then the S1 still one of my favorite skills in the game. So where can you use her? Primarily going to be Arena and RTA in certain matchups. So again, she does have very mad matchups in the current meta. Alencia destroys her. Charles destroys her. So those are 2 really bad matchups that she has that hurts a lot. That is going to hurt her a lot. Um, but she still has a lot of potential. Like even against a seaside in arena or in RTA, you could potentially, if they don't have immunity, you can lower the cooldown. If they have immunity, you're still doing a lot of damage. You still set up that barrier, which makes it so she won't be doing as much damage to you because you're stealthed and with a barrier. So she might not be able to get through it, and then you can just finish her off with the S2. So there's a lot of different ways to use her. People have used her against me in Champion RTA actually, because I picked a little too many fire units. They put her in, I was screwed. I could not get to her. My Charon could not touch her, and I could just not reach her. I couldn't reach her, and then she was able to just sweep my team. Because she can actually melt tanks really easily with the S1. So again, she has a really good matchup against Deanny teams, Deanny, Craw, Fallen Cecilia teams, because they can't reach her as easily, and she's able to do a lot of damage to them if they don't deal with the rest of the team. So she has a lot of potential, and I honestly think it's a unit that if they made the Molagora system better and made it so you could build more units, she would definitely be seeing a lot more play. But right now, she's not game breaking. She has very hard counters to her, and it's just another tool in the toolkit. She's not like a first, second, or even third pick. She's more of a last pick. So with how many units you need to build for RTA and Arena, it's tough to actually end up building her. But she has a lot of potential. I really do think she has really good potential. Now, Fallen Ceci, on the other hand, it's on the complete opposite spectrum, where Kise is more aggressive and trying to just do high damage and before the team can deal with her. Fallen Cecilia is trying to tank everything out. So as far as stats, decent speed for a knight. Decent speed for a knight. 110 is not bad speed. It's not crazy. Like, it's not Lilius. I think Lilius does have faster, or about the same. Man, that's kind of bothering me now. But pretty good defensive stats as well. So pretty good defense, pretty high health, and then good effectiveness, which we'll see you will kind of need on her. One of the reasons she's hard to build is because you need high effectiveness, high speed, and still have really good defensive stats. So let's talk about her. So typically, and then as far as awakening, health. So she can be extremely beefy if you pull a ton of her. But let's actually talk about her. So she's a unit. She was my third 5-star. So she has a special spot in my heart because I used to use her a lot when the game started, and I still love her design. I love her, like, her attitude. I love, like, her storyline. I think her design is so much better than Fallen Cecilia's, which is made me disappointed because Fallen Cecilia does not look that good. But Cece, she's legit. I love the outfit. It just looks so Winterberg, like it looks like where she's from. Like, I don't even know, but it feels like Russian, But alright, let's actually talk about it. So skill 1, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. A decreased defense can change the pace of a game. You can build her in counter set, like with a weird counter set build, and kind of punish the team for trying to attack you. They could end up getting a decreased defense. So that part's kind of scary. So it definitely has a lot of potential. It's not to the point of a Fallen Cecilia or an Ambitious Tywin that can just take out the turn for a different unit. So using Elris on her, while you can, it's not the best. If anything, just putting a counter set on her while still keeping her fast. There's a lot of builds you can use for her, but it's still not a bad S1. If it hits 2 turns of decreased defense, that can win you a fight. And having it on a knight, that's nice. The S2, it's okay. I get what they're trying to do. If you ever have high effectiveness, what's nice is you have a 100% chance to land a decreased attack. So if you have a high effectiveness, you can actually land a decreased attack on the whole enemy team. The other thing is also take off skill nullifiers, so that part's kind of nice. The thing about the attack break is it kind of makes your team tankier in a way, because you're essentially cutting their attack and making it so they can't hit you as much. But the premier skill that actually has put regular CC back on the map is actually going to be the S3. So the S3 has a lot. So first, let's just watch it first. I love the sound on this one. Like with the little bells. Did y'all hear that? Like dun dun. Oh man, I used to love that. I used to think that was so legit. Yeah, I love the sound effects on this skill. But biggest thing with this skill, y'all see all the provokes, right? It's a 100% chance to AoE provoke. Provoke is extremely annoying, especially with like a seaside, because that just essentially tells the enemy doesn't get to do what they want to do. You get to provoke them, and they have to hit CC, so you can proc things like seaside. and they essentially lose a turn. It's not as good as an AoE stun, but the fact that it's a 100% chance, the only thing that you care about is the 15% chance of effectiveness effective systems. It's one of the better crowd control skills. The other thing that it does for you is 2-turn immunity, which is extremely nice for a knight. If this cleanse debuffs, it'd be too broken. So whereas Lilius is more reactive, Cece is more proactive. Because Lilius is there to remove the debuffs that may have landed on you. Cece is there to give your team immunity and also lock out the enemy team as much as possible, while also putting some nasty debuffs on them. So if you can actually build it on counter set and still get like decent speed, like 180 on immunity set, it's actually pretty nice. The other option that I've seen a lot of people do is the speed build. So you'll build her really fast, like 200 plus speed. You'll give her like either Hillag Lance or Steadfast Gatekeeper, depending what you're trying to guard against. And then the enemy, like if they try to do AoE skills, then they push her up with Steadfast Gatekeeper, and then she completely cuts into their combo. AoE attacks them, AoE provokes, gives your team immunity, and their team is done. Their turn is over. There's a lot. She can do a lot. The problem is she's very stat hungry. Shuffles does use her in his arena defense. I'm pretty sure it's Shuffles, and he has a lot of success with her. He's a legend level player, and he uses her on his defense. Granted, he also has Alencia, and he also has Fallen Cecilia, but his team is nasty, because if you can also get like an Alencia to strip buffs and then do this skill, you're going to be messing up so many teams' day. You're literally just going to make people want to rage quit because they lose so many turns. And then if you happen to put on a counter set when they're hitting her, that's what I like about the counter set on her. If you do end up putting on a counter set and still having good speed, if you get the skill off, provoke, and they're hitting her, then she can go back with S1 and get some decreased defenses. You'll probably at least get one from all the times she hits. So again, very, very stat hungry unit. But again, has a lot of potential. I do have a CC. I do not have her built. She is one of my projects. I need to get the immunity gear from the shop before I actually end up building her. But man, I love her design. I love her ultimate. She's a really fun unit. Has a lot of potential, primarily in RTA and arena defense. Those are the two places that I would actually use her in the most. RTA, you could definitely mess up some people with this S3. The problem is, again, Kra Diani really kind of stomps on her, really kind of just hurts her, and effective assistance is becoming really popular, and it's really hard to make her a dedicated debuffer. Even though she has 18% effectiveness, because you still need speed, you still need health, you still need defense, you still need so many different things. So very hard unit to build, which is why I say both Kise and Cece, if you're a beginner player and you pull for them, most likely they're going to end up on your bench. Which is why, while they are really fun, and I love their designs, if you're an early game player, they most likely will not help you out. Kise used to be good for Wyvern, but the Wyvern meta has changed way too much because you're trying to get to Wyvern 13. So Wyvern 11, it's like, yeah, she goes through a barrier pretty nicely, but why use her for Wyvern 11? Because Wyvern 13, that's not what you need. She doesn't have any debuffs. So definitely face that on PvE, which makes her not as good for early game players because she's only PvP. Same with CC, not a lot. There's probably some content you can actually use her in, but not a lot PvE, primarily PvP. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So they also come with artifacts. CC's being actually one that's actually really unique, but again, you should never pull for artifacts because you're going to end up hating yourself, because it has happened that people try extremely hard to go for an artifact that they don't get. But this artifact, first, the art is beautiful. But this, it gives the knight an extra 10% defense, solid. Gives a barrier equal to 16%, that's really good. Imagine this on a Falconeer Cleary on like 250 speed that's healing, and now she's giving a barrier. This artifact almost feel like it was made for Falconeer Cleary, because Falconeer Cleary like have around like 16k HP, so that's like a what 20k 2000 barrier every time she takes a turn. That's annoying, and then she gets extra defensive stats. That's really nice. This artifact is actually a really good artifact. I can see people actually using her, primarily on Falconeer Cleary. The reason why I say that is because most people already have Fallen Cecilia, and if you don't have Fallen Cecilia, knights are typically not that fast, and you also like Aureus and Adamant Shield are still better than this, but this on a Falconeer Cleary, it sounds so toxic because Falconeer Cleary just takes so many turns. As far as Kises, it's kind of meh. There's not a lot of thieves that I see using this. So increased effectiveness, that's nice. You could probably play it in Kise if you really want to. And then the speed increase, that just lets her take a turn. It could be nice for Kise if you're trying to do some weird effectiveness Kise build. You know, like if you're trying to make her like a fast resetter as well as having some side damage. That'd be cool. You know, that'd be a pretty cool build. But besides that, it doesn't have that many uses. But alright, let's actually do some summons. And then while we're doing it, we'll do a quick recap. We only have 5, so I don't think we'll get anything. But you know, you can always be hopeful. We might try to go for one more so I can do one Moonlight for you guys. But both the units are very late game oriented. They definitely need a lot to work. So not recommended for early game players. Oh, Dingo? I'll feed it to my Blaze Dingo. But they're fun. Like Ceci, I had a lot of fun with playing around with her. I know this is terrible. I know, don't judge me. But okay, so we didn't get anything, but we do have enough for a Moonlight summon. Man, I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna spend 1,000 of my gems. I know I shouldn't because I just told you guys that we're low on resources. Hopefully they don't release anything that's super crazy. Yeah, I don't think I should be doing this, but you know, I'm feeling it. We're feeling it. We're feeling it. I'm really feeling it. Alright, let's actually summon. Let's see. Let's do 10 summon. I know, I'm greedy. I shouldn't be doing this. I just told you guys not to, but Kise has been one of my dream units for a while. So if we can actually get her, that would be super lit. But I really want to build her because she seems fun. And I don't have too many good water units, especially like water damage dealers. I'm definitely slacking on. But... Yes! Y'all.
The moonlight brought you to me.
Yo, okay, I'm actually really happy I did that now. Dude, I'm telling y'all the luck is on. Alright, we gotta do one more summon because like usually it's like bad luck, and now we do the Moonlight, right? That's the game plan. Did we even end up buying? Oh, we didn't even buy the Moonlight. That means we're gonna have to do another summon. Yo, we actually got her. I've been wanting this unit since the game came out. That makes me so happy, yo. That makes me so happy. I can't believe we actually got her. Ah, I'm so excited. Okay, one to get the luck out. Okay, so bad luck. Let's see one more and see if it's still bad luck. Okay, so it wasn't bad luck. So now we got the good luck, and now we go and we do a Moonlight, and we get the good luck. Alright, now here we get the 5-star. Check me out. Ah, no 5-star. Let's see if it's a unit I don't have, though. Silk. Feels bad, man. It's okay, at least we got the lightning. That was so exciting. I'm so happy for Kise, bro. I'm so hyped for Kise. Silk, actually better than people give her credit for. Extremely fast and can do a lot of work. One day I might actually build her, but right now I don't think it's the meta for her. But she's still a good unit. She still looks cool. Very underrated too. But alright, we did a lot of summons already, and we actually got some good stuff. So I'm gonna stop the recording right there. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.